Hello. So, obviously, I'm not Mrs. Blackburn, but I thought I would take a turn this week in telling you guys my most favourite story from when I was a child. And I figured if Tom Hardy could do it for CBBS, then maybe I could do it for the children at the fair school. Now, I'm going to read to you today the story of Where the Wild Things Are, and it's by Maurice Sendak. And this will be part one of the video, and I'm sure there'll probably be a second and maybe even a third part too. So let's have a look at our story today. Where the Wild Things Are. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind, look in there, and another, chasing the dog down the stairs. His mother called him, "Wild Thing!" And Max said, "I'll eat you up!" So he was sent to bed without eating anything. Look at him in his room. He doesn't look very pleased, does he? What happens? That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew. Look at the trees. And grew. Are we still enjoying it as a wild thing down here? And grew until the ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. Look at his bedroom now. All the trees growing tall. We can see the moon in the background. And Max, the wild thing, is doing a dance. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max. And he sailed off through night and day. You can see Max on his boat here, sailing across through night and through day. There's a preposition for us. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Can you see the wild things? Look at them. There's one underneath me as well. Look at that one there with his terrible claws, and gnashing their terrible teeth. But Max doesn't look too bothered, does he? Max doesn't look too upset on his boat over there. Till Max said, "Be still!" and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. Look at Max taming all the wild things. They don't look so fearsome anymore, do they? Maybe a little bit scared of our own little wild thing over here. And made him king of all wild things. Can you see Max with his crown on? "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." There they are, the dancing around in the moonlight, Max leading the way, hanging from the vines of the trees. Again, all of them looking at Max as their leader, and dancing across on the wild thing's shoulders, king of the wild things with his crown on his head. "Now stop!" Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely, and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go! We'll eat you up! We love you so!" And Max said, "No!" The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye, and sailed back over a year, and in and out of weeks, and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And there he is with his supper on the table, and it was still hot.